Welcome to Japanese Classroom. This lesson is about how to introduce yourself in easy Japanese. At the end of this lesson, I'd like you to be able to say what your name is, your occupation, and how old you are. And say nice to meet you to finish your self-introduction. In English, you can say these things after I am. The best Japanese sentence pattern for this is 私は something です。私 is the most common word for I or me. は is the topic marker. 私 and the topic marker は combined, 私は becomes I, not me. This hiragana for the topic marker is actually は. So if this letter is used within a word, it is always pronounced as ha. But when it's used alone as the topic marker, it gets pronounced as wa. The ending word des is equivalent of am, are, or is. So if you want to say you are Marie, you say 私はMarie です。Your name doesn't change, so just put your name as it is, but try to pronounce it slowly and clearly, as foreign names are very hard to catch. I have noticed that when they give their name, most English speakers usually give their first or given name, like John or Marie, but it may be handy to remember that most Japanese people will say their family name rather than their given name. If you want to say your name in the pattern of my name is Marie, you use the same sentence pattern, topic wa something です. But this time, the topic changes from I to my name, so you have to say 私の名前はMarie です. By using the particle no together with 私, 私の means my. 名前 is the Japanese word for name. If you want to say I am a teacher, you need the equivalent word for teacher between 私は and です. In Japanese, we don't have words like a or an because the Japanese language does not usually distinguish singular from plural. And the word teacher has two versions in Japanese. When you are talking about your own occupation, the word to use is 教師. If you already know the word sensei, you should remember sensei is the word to show respect to specialists like teachers and doctors, so you shouldn't use it for yourself. You should say 私は教師です instead. If you are a student, you need to pick the right word for yourself. A tertiary student is called 学生. Senior high school students will call themselves 高校生, but their teachers will call them 生徒. The word 生徒 also means those who are learning something like music in a private arrangement. Having said that, if you are a student studying in Japan, you can say 私は留学生です. 留学生 means an overseas student. Other occupation-related words which often appear in the beginner's level Japanese language proficiency tests are 医者 for medical doctors, 看護師 for nurses, 警察官 for policeman. This 警察官 can be shortened as 警官. And 公務員 means public servants. For other words for occupations, visit my website EasyJapaneseE.com and download a list. The link to the site should be showing at the top right corner right now. Now, let's move on to your age. You need to put the number of your age followed by sai between watashi wa and desu. Sai means years old. If you haven't learned Japanese numbers, learn them now with these videos. The link to counting 1 to 10 should be showing at the top right corner now. And the link to the video counting 10 to 100 is showing now. Now 25 in Japanese is 25. So I am 25 years old is 私は25歳です. The only thing is, if the Japanese number for your age ends in chi or u, for example, 18 for 18, 21 for 21, and 30 for 30, we Japanese people find it too hard to say 18歳. So we swallow the chi sound and say 18歳. 21歳 is too hard, so we say 21歳. There is a small pause before sai, and we use a small tsu to indicate that pause. You can remember this small tsu to be a symbol to make the sound before it jump. Try jumping up when you say the sound before the small tsu, like 18歳 or 21歳, and you will get the right sound. If you can say it correctly, then you have a better chance of hearing it correctly. Now I said chi changes to a small tsu, but for you to say 18歳 or 21歳 is perfectly okay. I mention this only because they won't say it that way, and you should be able to understand what they say. I think to most English speakers, 30歳 and 30歳 sound almost the same. But here we swap the hiragana u with a small tsu as well. And the sound changes from a prolonged sound of 30歳 to a jumping sound of 30歳. This rule of slight sound variation applies to all numbers ending in chi and u. So 28 is 28歳 and 31 is 31歳. For 20, if you say 20歳 or 20歳, people will understand you are talking about the age 20. But because 20 is the age of adulthood in Japan, we have a special word, which is 20歳. Our aim today was to say these things. For my name, 私はマリーです. For my occupation, 私は教師です. And for my age, 私は21歳です. Here, the topic of all three sentences are 私, and in that case, we usually skip 私は in the second and the third sentences. Now, the only thing left is nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, or the phrase at the end of your self-introduction, can have different degrees of politeness. The shortest and very casual one is よろしく, but it's probably too casual, so probably どうぞよろしく or よろしくお願いします is better. If you want to be more polite, you can say どうぞよろしくお願いします. I'll say them again. Practice saying them until you can say them smoothly. よろしく。どうぞよろしく。よろしくお願いします。どうぞよろしくお願いします。I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you like this lesson, please subscribe to my channel and give a thumb up. Also, for more study resources, please visit EasyJapaneseE.com. また今度 See you next time!